From COVID-19, and I appreciate your patience in the heat here today. I'm proud to be joined here by St. Louis civic, business, and community leaders here today to announce a new effort to protect and activate downtown St. Louis. Since the start of my administration, I've held listening sessions with downtown residents and stakeholders about their needs, working with them to come up with solutions on our issues facing downtown. In the preceding weeks, my administration has taken action against problematic bars and clubs, issuing citations to multiple establishments like Rain and the Wheelhouse after investigations and hearings. We're already taking steps to help people feel safe downtown. The effort we're launching is our largest to date. As the old saying goes, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. I see an idle downtown as a troublemaker's paradise. It's our shared responsibility as a city to create opportunities for our young people and our families to enjoy downtown. When I say I want St. Louis to win again, that includes our downtown core, home to some of our region's largest businesses and iconic landmarks and attractions like Busch Stadium and the Gateway Arch. St. Louis residents and tourists from across the region visit downtown for the cultural and sports amenities we have to offer. People want and should feel safe here. This is a both-and proposition. The health of our downtown directly impacts the rest of the city, and a strong urban core will help our region grow. But making downtown safer has to go beyond just punitive enforcement measures. That's limited thinking. We have to think more broadly about what positive traits make downtown a better place to live, work, and to visit. My vision for downtown is one where people can bring their families for cultural events like concerts that shows off our local artists, small businesses, and where youth can take advantage of fun, safe opportunities. Already, my administration is looking to build positive community spaces for our young people who need something fun and safe to do. We're allocating over $11 million in federal American Recovery Plan Act dollars towards improving public safety with youth jobs and programming, community violence intervention programs, and more. While we'll be taking immediate action to address downtown safety in the short term, this level of engagement, making downtown a positive space where communities can come together, is the key to long-term growth and safety. But enacting this positive vision can't be the burden of government alone. Every sector, public and private, has to be engaged to make this a reality. We need to look at our enforcement, infrastructure, and programming needs across the board. So today, civic, business, and community leaders are gathered here today to announce the formation of the Downtown Engagement and Public Safety Initiative. We've all been discussing these issues in our private separate silos. This will be an opportunity for us to come together, to communicate, to pool resources in a more collaborative way so we can take action more quickly. This new effort grew out of ongoing discussions with key regional stakeholders, and this table will meet consistently to provide regular public briefings on new plans and our progress. This initiative will keep stakeholders, elected officials, and the public in the loop on downtown issues. Yesterday, during my testimony at the Missouri Senate panel on St. Louis issues, I said that guns and public safety are substantial issues facing our region. There's no denying that truth. But if we want to solve these issues, we need to recognize all of the factors: poverty, lack of opportunity, housing instability, and decades of disinvestment in Black and brown communities that converge to create the conditions for crime. The root of these issues facing our downtown run deep, and it's easier to treat the symptoms than the cause, but I'm committed to addressing the root causes of crime that ultimately hold our downtown and our entire city back. It'll take a multi-pronged approach and engagement of all of our resources to activate and lift downtown St. Louis. Now, I'd like to bring up Dr. Dan Isom to discuss some of the enforcement strategies we're deploying and offer some insights into the trends we're seeing. Dr. Isom.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. Good afternoon to everyone. We are taking a data-driven approach to address downtown crime and allocating resources based on trends that we see. We see that most of the disturbances downtown are occurring on weekends, from Friday evening to late Saturday and Sunday night. As such, we are increasing our visibility and presence downtown, deploying around 30 officers to the downtown area on weekends. This deployment has already started. We had officers in place during the Ride of the Century event this last weekend. We are also looking to be more and do more enforcement of parking rules, park curfew, license plate tag issues, just to name a few. We are also looking at collaborating regionally with other enforcement measures, and we will keep you up to date as those developments come into being. We are also making progress on multiple fronts. Our homicides are down to a 5-year low, and we are down 35% over last year alone. But we continue to evaluate all of our strategies and adjusting accordingly citywide. And this is one of those instances. This is a short-term fix to some of the problems that we are having downtown for about 5 to 6 weeks, and then we will make adjustments as necessary going forward. But as Mayor Jones has emphasized, this is not only about enforcement. Creating positive, productive spaces in our downtown will bring more people to the neighborhoods to have fun and do things downtown. The engagement and improving downtown will make everyone safer and be able to enjoy our downtown area. Thank you. I will also turn it over to Jason Hall.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Jones and Dr. Isom, and good morning to everyone. My name is Jason Hall, and I'm the CEO of Greater St. Louis, Inc. It is a privilege to stand with leaders from the public and private sector, unified in our cause to make downtown St. Louis safer, looking holistically and comprehensively at the work to be done and the solutions that are needed. Greater St. Louis, Inc. is the organization of the civic-minded regional business community focused on driving growth with one voice, one agenda, and as one metropolitan region anchored by its vibrant urban core. We represent businesses that employ more than 220,000 people in the region and generate over $1 trillion in global annual revenue. That includes businesses large and small located in downtown St. Louis. On behalf of the regional business community, Greater St. Louis, Inc. is rolling up its sleeves, working to combine our efforts with Mayor Jones, law enforcement, downtown stakeholders, social service agencies, and others in a breakthrough and bold collaborative way to improve public safety in downtown. And that includes working with partners in our own community, like the Regional Business Council and broader work that they're doing in early intervention. But let's be clear, downtown St. Louis is critical to the long-term economic performance and global competitiveness of our entire bi-state metropolitan region and our fellow 2.8 million residents. As goes downtown St. Louis, so goes this region. It must be vibrant, it must be safe, it must be inclusive in order for our metro to reach its full growth potential. Yesterday, I testified with Mayor Jones and County Executive Steve Ailman before a Missouri Senate panel on the challenges and opportunities facing Metro St. Louis. As you can imagine, there are a lot of ideas, a lot of opinions on a wide range of topics, but what struck me was that there appeared to be widespread agreement on one truth. Whatever happens in downtown St. Louis impacts the entire metro and our ability to compete for jobs, investment, and talent. In other words, we're all in this together. Looking at one of our peer markets, a former mayor of Indianapolis, Bill Hudnut, who was deeply engaged in revitalizing downtown Indy and set that metro on the high growth trajectory that it is today, over 12% growth for their metro in the last decade. He famously said, and repeated often, "You can't be a suburb of nowhere." The recently released community-shaped STL 2030 jobs plan, the first deep independent assessment and metro-wide action plan for inclusive growth in over a decade, underscores this imperative. The success of downtown St. Louis and our broader urban core will strengthen our entire 15-county bi-state metro's ability to grow and compete for jobs and people. And for good reason. Downtown St. Louis is a regional employment, sports, recreational, cultural, and residential neighborhood. It has been said that downtown is the common turf and collective turf of the entire region, the place that defines a region's global image to the world and on which our psyche, self-confidence, and future prospects of the entire region depend. The business community is already working every day to strengthen downtown through the continued implementation of the recently adopted Design Downtown STL agenda, the first such framework for moving downtown forward in over 20 years. This plan calls for investments in activities, infrastructure, events, green spaces, art, and other strategies to make downtown St. Louis more vibrant and improve our metro's competitiveness. And we're already taking some bold steps forward in this direction. Under the leadership of Bill DeWitt, Andy Taylor, Suzanne Sitherwood, Ron Krzyzewski, and other civic leaders, we're soon moving forward on the plan to connect the convention center with Ballpark Village with dedicated bike and pedestrian lanes to add more vibrancy and improve the user experience. We're activating a new event series called Lunchtime Live that will bring music, food trucks, and network opportunities to the old Post Office Plaza. That starts tomorrow, so we encourage you to join us, and it will run through Wednesday, November 3rd. We're also making more investment to bring music and entertainment, such as the lot on the landing on the North Riverfront, that both improves that infrastructure and creates, as the mayor said, something positive to do and enjoy. We're advocating, as I did again yesterday before the Senate panel, for state resources to invest in our startup and innovation community, which is thriving in downtown St. Louis, and that long-term policy thinking matters. I think of companies like our member, Mark Bernstein, the founder of Balto Artificial Intelligence, a former Arch Grants company, just raised $40 million in venture capital and could be anywhere in this country, let alone anywhere in this region, and he is building his global headquarters in downtown West St. Louis. We're also teaming up with other cities to advance new ideas in the U.S. Congress, including the Revitalizing Downtown Act, to create new tools for reactivating downtown buildings, speaking of which, we were very proud to attract a new developer out of Memphis to get that large Butler Brothers building, beautiful historic structure, from vacant to activation. Next month, downtown St. Louis will host, on behalf of this region, for the first time ever, the global geospatial industry at a time when we are laser focused on taking coordinated action as a metro to leverage that $2 billion investment in the new NGA headquarters for St. Louis to be the global leader in this fast-growing technology sector. We'll be making more announcements soon about additional investments to continue to build on this momentum and move our action items forward, because we must confront this and must make downtown safer and more vibrant. We are incredibly grateful to the mayor and Dr. Isom for the steps they have already taken and announced today, the additional steps to put more law enforcement, because that is part of the solution, but we need a more holistic solution. The regional business community, we pledge to be active partners in helping improve the flagship Central Business District. We are laser focused on job creation and improving our competitiveness, because we fundamentally do believe that creating jobs and finally broader inclusive prosperity for every resident, regardless of their zip code in this region, is one of the most effective tools we have to combat crime and make this a more safe and equitable community. The success of downtown St. Louis is a regional priority. Working together, we can get this done. I appreciate everyone's time, and I'm glad to welcome the president of the St. Louis Cardinals, Bill DeWitt.
Thanks, Jason. I always enjoy talking to groups when the Cardinals are in a pennant race. The questions are easier. I don't know why, but real quickly, I'm just here to reiterate the Cardinals' commitment to downtown St. Louis. And, you know, we have a big investment here, and we love it. We're not going anywhere, and we're going to continue to invest in downtown St. Louis. Ballpark Village, as you know, Phase 2 opened in 2020, and we have visions for a third phase as well. Our apartment tower, which you can see over my right shoulder, is full, and hopefully more to come. So as far as this security effort goes, we know that when it comes to downtown safety, failure is not an option. We have to fix this. We will fix it, and I'm glad to be part of the group that's going to meet every week to discuss these issues and coordinate together to be more efficient in our response. And we also plan on harnessing all of our resources to do what we can to not just make games safer at Cardinals games in Ballpark Village, but throughout the downtown area. Look forward to working with this task force in the coming months. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Anthony Thompson. I'm the CEO of the Kwame Building Group, and I'm as committed today to St. Louis as I was 20 years ago when I completed the mixed-use development at the corner of 12th and Washington. We developed that facility for a place to live, work, and play, and that's what we want to continue to do. We also want to do it in a diverse manner. We know that some of the challenges here are centered around music and the arts in the Washington area, but as a business owner, we are just as committed. It's not the police and law enforcement alone to help solve these problems. We as citizens of St. Louis must also join with these law enforcement individuals to make sure it's a safe downtown and place to live and work. I'm committed to that. We have security cameras at our facility. We make sure that we do our part to maintain that same thing. I've been talking with Dan Isom about adding a substation, police substation, in our facility on that corner, so that now the presence will also change the dynamic of what's happening in our area. But as long as we both are committed to it, public, private sector, we can combat this problem. But we must do it in a diverse manner. We can't talk about culturally enriching music and art and so forth and leave out the young African-American youth. So we need to make sure we find venues for them to participate and enjoy the jewels of St. Louis, and that's what we're committed to doing at the Kwame Building Group. And thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to the weekly meetings. Thank you.
All right, at this time, we'll entertain any questions you may have for the mayor or any other of our guests here. No questions?
Well, our goal is to have fixed locations throughout downtown. They will be in various areas. Certainly Kiener Plaza will be one, City Garden will be another, and then we'll have posts throughout the downtown area. We will also have teams that will be roving downtown to enforce certain violations, whether it's park curfew, traffic ordinance violations. So the goal is to have increased presence using technology, and then the long-term goal, of course, is to look at other ways in which we can make this a safe and vibrant downtown. And I think, as we all talked about, having events that will occupy these spaces where more people are downtown is a recipe for a long-term solution.
Sir, you mentioned that there were 30 officers on patrol downtown this weekend for the Ride of the Champions, or Ride of the Century, excuse me. One person was shot, a 78-year-old man was beaten so badly, ended up in the hospital. That begs the question, is 30 enough?
Well, you know, I think that we will start with 30 and we will look at how that works. We are continuously looking at our deployment, specifically how many and actually where people should be. So I think it's a process, and we certainly may not get it fixed the first time, but we look to continue to reevaluate as we go forward. And as I said, and I think everyone has mentioned, This is a collaborative approach. We're looking to do things beyond just law enforcement. We certainly don't think 30 officers or 100 officers is the long-term answer. We believe that looking at this comprehensively, we will come up with long-term solutions.
Do you think officers will mostly be responding to violent crime? You see quality of life enforcement, speeding, that sort of thing? I know that's a lot of complaints downtown.
Yeah. Well, certainly we've had a trend of violent incidents downtown. We are trying to be data-driven and strategic about where those are. Many have happened in this area, and so we are deploying officers to both plazas and parks. And then, of course, we have had issues along Washington Street. So we have to follow the trends and where the data tells us we need to be, and we will continue to do that as we move forward.
Many businesses have stepped up, taking responsibility, putting cameras out. They have hired personal security. They've hired off-duty police officers. Where does a business responsibility end if something happens out in front of their place of business?
Well, first I'd like to say that we have great corporate partners down here. We are in the process of working with all the corporate security directors downtown and throughout the region to just think about better ways that we can collaborate and share resources. I will say that we do a good job doing that, especially with Ballpark Village and the Cardinals and other entities down here, but there's always room for improvement. And so this past week, there were about 30 or 40 corporate security directors that met. We explored new ideas and better ways that we can work together to provide safety. So that will be a part of the long-term process as well.
You talk about things happening on the weekends, often late at night. Last night, like she mentioned, an armed robbery on the Arch grounds of a Blues Prospect at 7:30. The sun's not even down by then. How do you explain that?
Well, the way we explain it is that we are continuously looking at ways in which we can provide better safety. You know, where are things happening? We haven't had that many problems, if any, on the Arch grounds. I think you could safely say by your reporting that it's rare that we had incidents that happened down there. So we have to be strategic about this and look at where things happen. Certainly that is an incident we would not like to happen, but we've got to place our officers in the areas we think things are more likely to occur.
And the 30 officers we're talking about, what is that an increase from?
Well, we have our 4th district officers, and then we also have foot, beat, and bike officers. There are about 25 of those. As you might imagine, the 4th district officers cover more than just downtown. The bike officers are primarily responsible for downtown, so we're looking at an additional 30 officers beyond the 25 bike and foot beat officers that we have. And that is on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday between 8 p.m. and 4 in the morning, where we believe the majority of the problems are occurring.
All right, one more.
Can the mayor speak to Rain's liquor license being suspended last week by the excise committee? What this last weekend looked like, which Rain shut down after their liquor license was suspended last Friday?
I actually can't speak to that. That it was suspended on Friday, and they have another hearing coming up on the 27th.
So you have no comment on that liquor license being suspended and the overall safety implications of that?
Their liquor license was suspended, and they have another hearing coming up on the 27th.
What message do you have for other businesses that might attract that type of violence to their portfolio?
Well, that's also part of this initiative. We're going to work with local business owners. There are a lot of business owners who have the same type of entertainment who have had success and haven't had as many problems. So we're going to be seeking their input because obviously they know something that they have the secret sauce to make sure that people can be entertained in an environment that is safe. And so we're going to be looking for their input as well.
All right, thank you, everyone. I'm really hot.